Hello, welcome. Are you like me? Do you have a significant other who loves plants and loves putting plants on stands? Then you need to build a plant stand. Welcome to Drew Dabbles, everybody. My name is Drew. In today's episode, we are going to be building a plant stand for one of the about 5 billion plants that we have in my house here. We're going to be making this one out of maple. So stick around. We're going to do some intricate joinery that I don't typically do. So that's going to be fun to dabble in. And we are going to get going. So let's hit it. All right, so I'm measuring a little bit longer than the height of the plant stand just to give myself a little bit of wiggle room when squaring up the ends. And then here we are making the cut. I hate that hose. And 1 clamp, and 2 clamps, and 3 clamps, and more clamps. All right, so now that I have all of the leg pieces cut, I've aligned them next to each other and I've just laid down a thick line of glue, and I'm working that glue in with my glue roller, getting ready to clamp them together here. Have you ever seen somebody struggle so much to clamp something together? I mean, really, looking back at this video, it's kind of embarrassing. It took me a while to figure out how to clamp all of these together. What's your worst clamp story? Have you guys ever had a clamping fail like this? Leave it down in the comments and let me know. All right, so if you're like me, you may not have a jointer or a planer in your workshop due to size or budgetary constraints. So what I'm going to do in order to make the legs of these kind of perfectly square, I'm going to make a jointing sled for my table saw. So to do that, I have a piece of cut maple that's going to go in the miter track and a piece of plywood, and we're going to put it together. So let's do that, and then we'll work on squaring up the legs. All right, now that we got our miter rail installed on the back of this jig, all we have to do is run it through the table saw and you'll have a perfectly square face ready to plane some stuff. So let's do it. All right, here we are running the leg through the table saw, getting one side squared. I would probably invest in a clamp down jig next time to keep your fingers far away from the blade. Don't worry, no fingers were lost in the making of this video. All right, with the recently cut side towards the fence, we are now running the other end of the leg through the table saw to get that side perfectly square as well. All right, to hold this thing together, we're going to use some mortise and tenon joints, which is something I don't do a lot of, or any of actually. So here we are measuring out the layout for where we want to put our mortises. All right, using a small Forstner bit, I'm able to auger out a majority of the material, and then I'll hit it again with a chisel to square it up. All right, if you're a fine woodworker or you use a lot of hand tools, you're probably getting pretty frustrated with how I'm approaching this mortise joint with this chisel. Don't worry, it turned out fine in the end, but if you have any comments or recommendations on how to do better, please leave them down in the comments below. All right, the half lap section of the plant stand here, I was able to cut out pretty cleanly using my table saw. So using my miter jig, I was able to run it through the table saw blade a couple of times and then was able to snap those out and go back and clean them up. Here's the final assembly piece. It's got a little bit of a wobble in it, so I think we have a pretty easy solution right here, and done. Perfect. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching today's video on how to build a plant stand. If you liked today's content, please be sure to like and subscribe. I would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. And if not, I'll see you next time.